Hey, this is Coach Eric Johnson, the brand.
And Coach Aaron Thigpen, the source.
Welcome to our podcast, Aaron. We got a great subject today, talking about athletes and frustration and how they deal with that when they're doing some sort of endeavor, whether it be a competition or practice or even training.
Yeah, handling frustrations, one of those things that takes a while, I think. It's a skill that you have to develop in sports. And it happens with some help from, I think, your coaches and your parents, and basically on how to cope with that, and then kind of just your own internal maturity as you develop as an athlete, or hopefully as you develop as an athlete. But first thing I would say is actually, to the parents, is helping your athlete cope with, frustration. The first thing would be, let them know that it's momentary. And I think it's kind of self-fulfilling. If you continue to be frustrated, you'll continue to be frustrated.
Absolutely.
And if you break that cycle, if you say, hey, no, I'll allow myself to be frustrated for this period of time, this moment, and then I got to move on.
Right.
So I think that's kind of the way I learned to do that. I mean, I didn't really have anyone tell me, but I just kind of, you hear the term, especially in baseball, you got to have a short memory. Well,
short-term memory, right.
That's kind of how you move on. And so you don't get into that spiral of frustration. And so I think maybe parents helping the kids and reminding them just to move on.
Right.
And move to the next moment instead of staying. I know we always say stay in the moment, but those are moments that you probably don't want to be. Yeah. So
no way.
Maybe the mantra is, let's move on to the next moment.
One thing I found out about frustration, Aaron, is that it teaches you patience.
Yeah.
It teaches you how to have a strong mindset. It teaches you how to build character. It tests your intestinal fortitude to grow. Because you're gonna be frustrated no matter whatever you do in sports. It's not like everything is perfect. You're gonna get frustrated. Frustration teaches you so much about yourself, your energy, how you breathe, how you walk, how your mannerisms are, how you hold yourself, and I think a lot of kids, a lot of players, a lot of athletes have trouble recognize that frustration is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's something there to help you grow and develop a better skill at how to cope with it.
Yeah.
If you cope with frustration, you can move on, be patient, be strong, be resourceful for yourself,
right,
to get to the next step. I think that's part of getting to the next step is frustration.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and now to get all zen on you, if you think about it, frustration, maybe look at it as energy, emotional energy. And energy can be turned in a lot of different forms.
Right.
So why don't you take that frustration, that emotional energy that's negative, and turn it and warp it into something that's more positive.
Right. And it's funny that you said zen-like, right? Be zen-like. A lot of athletes want to say, I want to stay in the moment, or they say, I want to get into the zone.
Right.
Being frustrated allows you to learn how to get into that zen moment, that zone, to overcome those frustrations, learn how to deal with your concentration, because frustration, right?
There you go. That's redirecting that energy. That
right.
You're saying, okay, I'm frustrated, but that frustration can be channeled into focus.
I like that right
focus
there. Focus
now becomes concentration.
Yeah, and I just, and I tell parents out there is that your young athlete's going to be frustrated. How can you how can you help them get to the next step instead of saying, oh, well, frustrated, you got to do better than that. Instead of doing that, let's work through the process with them to help them and let them give you an answer of how they feel so they can learn how to be resilient and learn how to make their own decisions, learn how to work through their frustrations. So when you're not there as a parent, or you're not there as a coach, a trainer, or etc., the young athlete knows how to deal with it. Right. And I think that's the biggest thing that we try to teach our young athletes is, hey, frustration is not a bad thing. It can work in your favor if you know how to utilize it. Yeah. So I think it's a pretty interesting quick dive into frustration, Aaron, and what it means, out there to young people who are trying to, achieve. I always say this: you're trying to master what you're trying to do. You're not trying to perfect what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good way to put it. I couldn't add anything more to that other than thank you for attending today's self-help seminar, and please buy our cassettes on their way out.
We're just trying. That'd be $19.99.
Yeah.
I love it. Again, hey, this is Coach GJ, the brand.
Coach Aaron Thigpen, the source.
We'll check you out next time.
Peace.